את כל הכוכבים תמן, את הסהר הטף בשחור, מצפון ועד תימן אין קרן לו. אור זרוע לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה, אור זרוע לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה. לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה.
Oh, that's fine. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Welcome to the Ark, which is a bit discombobulated at the moment. But we've been live once already, and now we're back again. So for those who were here an hour ago, well done, and hopefully you're still with us. If you would like to come and light the candles here, and we'll do another call-up at some point in time when your sister is around. We now begin our services, especially on Kabbalat Shabbat. Lighting candles in particular to think of all of the hostages who do not have their freedom to light candles, to drink wine or eat challah at this moment in time. And in particular, we do that for Karina Ariev, the cousin of the manager of Kol HaNeshama congregation in Jerusalem that we are twinned with. much indeed. And before you go away as well, just David, come up as well. And Monique, do come up. A very special blessing because, please come in, because we were also at times over the past year praying for you as well, Eddie, as you were serving in the IDF. And this feels like a really, really special moment. Dora made sure that you were always right at the front of all of our thoughts. And it was very special, actually, for us to be thinking of you at the time. Now to have you back whole is really incredibly special. And we say, Adonai Yishmor Tzeitecha Uvoecha Me'ata Ve'ad Olam. May the Eternal One guard your going out and your coming back in now and always. And let us say, Amen. Amen. It's so wonderful to have you all together. And all together, I've done the typical Goldstein thing of lighting the candles to two different people tonight, I realise. But that's, no, you can sit down, or you can light it with Sammy as well, who would be delighted to do that. So Sammy and Greta, if you'd like to come up and light our candles, a candle apiece, because I'm a klutz. Or tonight I'm a klutz. No, I am a klutz. There we go.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Okay. There we go. And if you let Sammy light the other candle. Okay. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
So please be seated as we begin our caring, sharing service of all lighting candles together. Eternal God, your glory fills the universe. We are never beyond the touch of your hand. Yet we are grateful for special times and places which help us, in company with others, to reach out to you. Here at this hour, let us feel your nearness. Grant that we may hear your voice speaking in our hearts, as in the stillness of the Sabbath peace, we turn to you. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharek, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Baruch Hu. Achuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch Hu. Tzeitechem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch Hu. Many people contact us at the Ark Synagogue and say, what do we expect? What should we expect when we come to the Ark Synagogue? And I said, you can't really tell what to expect. There is no one standard. And so as you've just heard, we have had 6 Shabbat angels coming into our lives. Sometimes we have a wonderful all-female choir. Sometimes we have a wonderful all-male choir. Very often a mixed as well. The musical styles are all mixed as well. You don't really know what you're going to get, apart from the few things that you actually do see in words around you as well. So let's just come along and feel that you belong here, that you can experience the most incredible Shabbat experiences in the sense of being together with others who really care, and that you can just be yourself and add yourself in as a Shabbat angel this evening. On page 77, the Eternal One reigns, let the earth rejoice. Clouds and darkness surround you. Your lightnings illumine the world. Mountains melt like wax before you, O God. The heavens proclaim your righteousness. Zion hears and is glad, for you are supreme over all the earth. Light dawns for the righteous. Let the righteous rejoice in you. Yedid nefesh, acharav hamad, l'shochavtecha el retzonecha, yarutz avtecha kemo hayal, yishtachavel el mul hadarecha, yerav lo yedidotecha, mino vetzuf v'chol ta'am, Igaleina ufros habibi alai, etzufa shalomecha, ta'ali eret mikvodecha, na'agila v'mismecha, ma'ehu yivamoreh, v'chonenu kivnei olam. Turn to page 92. Page 92, and please rise. Praise the one to whom our praise is due. We praise the Eternal One, to whom our praise is due forever. Please be seated. And let us read together. We praise you, Eternal One, our God, sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understanding changes times and seasons, and whose will sets the stars in their courses in the sky. You make day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. You make day pass and bring on the night and separate day from night. You rule the hosts of heaven. We praise you, O God, whose word makes evening full. Shabbat את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וגשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Please be seated. All this we hold to be true and sure. You are alone, eternal one, are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt forever to serve you in freedom. When we witnessed your power, we praised your name and gave thanks. Willingly, we accepted your rule. Then, full of joy, we sang together. And it has been said, the Eternal One has delivered Jacob and redeemed us from the hand of one stronger than ourselves. We praise you, O God, Redeemer of Israel.
Spread the shelter of your
Adonai, hapurei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol yoshvei tevel. Please rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, v'Hanura, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocheh Chastei Avot v'Imachot, u'Mevi Geula lifnei v'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומשיח ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד טלטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, מצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. קדוש אתה ונורא שמך, ואין לנו אלוה מבלעדיך, ברוך אתה אדוני, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. V'sharu v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'rit olam beini uven b'nei Yisrael Yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinavash. Together. Our God and God of our ancestors, may our rest on this day be pleasing in your sight. Sanctify us by your commandments and make us loyal to your teaching. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Eternal One, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace. We praise you, O God, for the holiness of the Sabbath. Eternal God, be gracious to your people, Israel, and in your love accept their prayers. May our worship now and always be acceptable in your sight. We praise you, O God, whom alone we worship in reverence. And we continue. Modim anachnu lach, sha'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu le'olam va'ed. Tzor chayenu magen yishenu, ata hu l'dor v'dor. Nodeh lecha u'nesaper tehilatecha, al chayenu hamasurim biyadecha, va'al nishmotenu habakodot lach, va'al nisecha shebechol yom imanu, va'al niflotecha v'tovotecha, shebechol eitz erev v'voker v'tzochorayim. Baruch ata Adonai, hatov shimcha, u'lachana lechodot. Shalom Rav Israel Amcha Tzaddikim Leolam. Shalom Rav Israel Amcha Tzaddikim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech hador lechol hashalom. אתה הוא מלך הדור לכל השלום. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Tasim le'olam. Baruch atah Adonai, osei hashalom. May it be your will, eternal God, that love and harmony, peace and friendship shall dwell among us. Help us to face the future with confidence and with hope. Guide us in your world with good companions and good intentions. When we rise up in the morning, may we find our hearts ready to revere you, and may our deepest longings be fulfilled for good. Shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu mi'al kol Yisrael mi'al kol bnei Adam.
The Sedra this week is Acharei Mot. It deals with the immediate events after the death, last Shabbat, or well, at least in the Torah, of Nadav and Abihu, who were said to have gone into the sanctuary with strange fire and didn't seem to be the right thing to do, except at the end their fate was that God zapped them. So be very careful when you come to shuls that you do the right thing. But anyway, it goes on with a ritual that starts out really being and is pictured as something that would purify the sanctuary after the terrible things that had gone on there the week before. And it contains a very curious ritual, and that is the fact that that Aaron is instructed to come before the sanctuary, and they should bring him 2 goats. And you probably know where it's going to lead. What happens is that one of the other priests comes with a bowl, and in the bowl there are 2 lottery chips. And one says Adonai, God, and the other says Azazel. And he puts his hand in the thing, presumably closing the eyes, I don't know, it doesn't say, and he messes about with the 2 chips and brings them out. And he puts, without looking, he puts one on one goat's head and the other on the other goat's head. It's all in Leviticus 16. You can look it up. And they have a look, and the one that has Adonai, they sort of then immediately sacrifice that one, which is bad luck. But the Azazel, the one that has Azazel, they keep going for a little while longer. And then in a big ritual, he puts his own sins and the sins of all the people on the head of Azazel's goat. And then it's chased out into the wilderness and evidently pushed over a cliff to its death. And the question is, which goat would you prefer to be? One way or another, it's inevitable, but maybe it's best to get it over with before the run through the desert. But anyway, it was a strange ritual, and the whole ritual then becomes part of the Yom Kippur observance, and we have references to it in our Machzor. It was William Tyndale in his 1530 translation of the Latin Bible into English that coined the phrase scapegoat. The word has had many usages since then, and I note the technical alternative is disambiguation. Have you heard that one before? And the quote is, "The singling out of a person or party for unmerited blame." But I think scapegoat sounds more graphic. In 1921, Israel Zangwill wrote, "Nothing gratifies the mob more than to get a simple name to account for a complex phenomenon, and the word Jew is always on hand to explain the never-absent maladies of the body politic." I'm sure it doesn't take me to point out that Jews have been made a scapegoat throughout the ages. For centuries it was promoted in the Christian world. Today it's current in the secular world, in the protest world. Jew and Zion, Israel and Jew become synonymous. And one increasingly feels that these protests are not just about conflict in the Middle East, but protests about the collapse of civil society, about politics, about poverty, and much else. And a suspicion that this whipping up of hatred is actually financed by malign actors. Monday is Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, a day to commemorate the darkest of our times, or so we thought, in our long history. A day instituted by the government of Israel in 1951 to connect to the beginning of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising in 1943 that started on Erev Pesach, the 19th of April, and continued until May the 16th of that year. Maybe 7,000 Jews died within the ghetto during that fight. 7,000 were captured and immediately executed by the Nazis. And already maybe 500,000 had been taken from the ghetto area to Treblinka and murdered. A year later, the general revolt of the Polish resistance against the Nazis began. And it too was defeated, though in both cases at great cost to the Germans, and ended with the Germans destroying further swathes of the city. It was left in a complete, devastated ruin. Until the 7th of October last year, the remembrance of the Holocaust had already gone through several stages. In 1951, actual facts were still being gathered. Survivors unwilling to talk about the inhumane horrors that they had been subjected to. It took a while, maybe a film, Schindler's List, for earnest talking to begin, and the talking and research has gathered pace ever since, has gone on ever since. The opening of archives at the collapse of the Soviet Union provided a new host of material. Academics have revealed new sources and new theories published. And the survivors, who were initially reluctant to tell of their experiences, have in the last 20 years or so begun to speak. And then to actively speak to schools, universities, to anybody who would listen. But now the survivors are nearing their end. Second generation and even third are picking up the task, and yet all along as the years go by, the task is more urgent, or the memory of the Shoah will become on the level of knowledge of the expulsion from Spain or the First World War, known only to enthusiasts. The mantra was repeated again and again, never again. But then came the 7th of October, 2023, and it is again. We ask ourselves, has humanity learned nothing from the lessons of the Holocaust? What does it mean to be a Jew today in a world where anti-Semitism has once again raised its ugly head high, so openly and so violently? On this Shabbat, as we approach Holocaust Memorial Day, we are aware that in so many circles, even to mention the word Holocaust is maybe dangerous and ends up bringing the opposite reaction to the one required. Not since remembrance of the deliberate murder of a third of our people a threatened aim to wipe even more. No, immediately tit-for-tat accusations that it's our fault. It's Israel's itself. It's the Jews who have not learnt the lesson and are carrying out deliberate genocide on another people. To display the word Holocaust is too dangerous or provocative. Witness the cover-up last week of the very tiny Holocaust memorial in Hyde Park, lest the mob should desecrate it. So what are our thoughts as we approach Yom HaShoah this year? Dismay at the protests in America, around the world, in Britain, of course. Demonstrations that have so many elements that are not legitimate protest against Gaza war, but are open anti-Semitism. And river to the sea calling for the wiping out again of maybe half of the Jewish people. Though our thoughts should be with the innocent Palestinians in Gaza who have been oppressed for so long by Hamas. And our thoughts must be with those held captive by Hamas and those grieving in Israel and the citizens of Israel who must be worried, so worried, about where will all this end. Where to find any sense, where to find any comfort on this Shabbat and at this time. Maybe it comes from the full and original name of the day, Yom HaZikaron LaShoah VeLaGvura, the Holocaust and Heroism Remembrance Day, clearly connected to the Warsaw Ghetto, as I said. A reminder that the challenge is not to just passively remember, but to react positively, or at very least to keep faith that Israel has faced many challenges in its short history, that it has won many battles and restored the peace of the country for its citizens and for the Jewish people worldwide, that the Jewish people has survived and will survive. Am Yisrael Chai. And a reminder that as each night we have to see on the news devastated buildings in Gaza, usually the same buildings, a reminder that Warsaw was also razed to the ground, but was speedily rebuilt as a replica. Gaza could and will be rebuilt, maybe not as a replica, but as something better. And a note of biblical realism. If only Hamas or its ideology could be defeated, if only we could put the terrorists and their ideology on the back of a goat and send them away to meet their end in the wilderness, Dayenu, it would be enough. Amen.
Let us now move to our concluding prayers that you can find on page 520. Page 520. And please rise. Aleinu l'shabech l'adon hakol, l'teklu l'aliot separeshit, asher sam chelkenu li'echad et shemo, v'gor aleinu lahamlit malchuto, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shehu notei shafayim v'yosed haaretz, u'moshav yekaro b'shamayim mima'al, u'shkinatu zo, b'govhei maharomim, hu Eloheinu heinod, emet malkeinu efesulato, Kakatu b'torato, v'yadata hayom v'hashevota elavavecha, ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ ועל הארץ מתחתנו, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. On page 524. On this Shabbat, we recall the yahrzeits that occur around this time of year, commemorated on this Shabbat, of Jacob Torek, the father of Philip, of Peter Keynes, the brother of Barbara Conn, of Maurice Goldstein, the father of Andrew Bernard and David, father-in-law of Sharon and Gilda, of David Hirsch, the brother of Rachel Rickeisen, of Henry Schack, the brother of Victor, and Sebastian Schack, the son of Robert and Kate, grandson of Victor and Anne, Melvin Finley, the husband of Ruth, Nicole Cantor, the mother of Annie Woodcock, Sidney Plax, the husband of Greta and father of Vivian and Benita, Stephanie Dralish, the sister of Jill Ter Havanassian, and aunt of Greg and Sylvie, Alan Greenglass, the husband of Jackie, Dennis Toriel, the aunt of Joy Jacob, and Lizzie Walker is remembering Tony Walker, the father of Mike Walker. And we also are saddened to announce the death this week of Ruth Myers, the cousin of Rabbi Rachel Benjamin and friend of many of us within this congregation. Zecher Tzadikim Livracha, may their memories remain with us as a blessing. And let us say together, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chai echon v'yom echon v'chayei decho Beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mavarach le'olam u'lamei amaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitada v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'yal kol b'nei Adam, v'imru amen. May great peace descend from heaven, and abundant life be granted to us, to all Israel, to all peoples, and to all those who mourn. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. In a few moments, we're going to conclude with Ein Keloheinu that you can find on page 528, although we are singing a Ladino version, which would require you to, I don't know if we've got the words up at all. If we can get the words up, we will do. Thank you very much indeed, so everybody can see in the sanctuary as well, and sing the Ladino version. There is so much going on in the community this week. Tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock for Havdalah. If you sign on to Havdalah at approximately 5:15 after the prayers, we have our service of reflection and talk, City of Hope, a Valley of Tears, the story of the children of Israel, with Rabbi Michelle Werner, presented and curated by Rabbi Leah. We do have, if there are any families online, we're on a sort of bank holiday break. So if you come in tomorrow morning, you can come into the service for sure, but there's no cheder tomorrow morning. We, of course, have reflections between Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaTzmaut, where we're joining the Israel movement for progressive Judaism, and many other things around this time to look forward to. But most importantly, next Saturday, we have our 60th anniversary civic service. I can't quite believe every time I have school visits and open up the Ark and say, that scroll is over 250 years old and that one over 150, etc. And I say, and that one's 10 years old. And I can't believe it because it feels a little bit like yesterday that we were scribing and finished helping the scribe Bernard Ben Ebrosh to complete our new Sefer Torah. And this week, Jean fabulously found a wonderful, wonderful photograph of Ruth Myers, who I just mentioned now, with the most wonderful, beautiful smile on her face as she was helping Bernard to finish off one or two of the letters. It really was an incredible memory, especially poignant this week to share. So it's our 60th anniversary service. We do have some dignitaries coming in. Don't think that the synagogue will be too full to fit you in. So please do come along and enjoy it. And of course, otherwise, join us online. It is amazing. I can't shout out to everybody who has joined us this evening. Such wonderful people. It's so fantastic to have you all. It's wonderful to have all of our twin congregation in Lviv joining us this evening. And so many giving their thanks to Dad for the sermon this evening. And one in particular who at least makes a minyan tonight, a baked din, is Rabbi Howard Berman as well, a colleague and friend of our whole family. It really is very special to have you with us as well this evening. So let us conclude this service, which has had so many different elements to it already. There are lots of reasons why you're all here tonight, so please do stop and speak to each other. If you don't know each other, please do make sure that you chat here. And we'll join everybody online in a few moments as well. If you want to join our Kiddush Zoom room, please just look at the bottom of the screen and join Pip, who is very keen. But for now, Ein Keloheinu.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kamatenu, Ein Kamoshienu, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. Mi Eloheinu, mi Kadoneinu, mi Kamatenu, mi Kamoshienu, quien como nuestro Dios, quien como nuestro Señor, quien como nuestro Rey, quien como nuestro Salvador. No del Eloheinu, no del Adoneinu, no del Eloheinu, no del Moshienu. Le amamos a nuestro Dios, le amamos a nuestro Señor, le amamos a nuestro Rey, le amamos a nuestro Salvador. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adoneinu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu. Bendicho nuestro Dios, bendicho nuestro Señor, bendicho nuestro Rey, bendicho nuestro Salvador. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adoneinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Tú sos nuestro Dios, tú sos nuestro Señor, tú sos nuestro Rey, tú sos nuestro Salvador.
Shekoyach. Please rise. Yehi Adonai Eloheinu imanu, ka'asher haya im avotenu, al ya'azvenu ve'al yitshenu lachatot levavenu elav, lelechet b'chol drachav. Eternal God, be with us as you were with our ancestors. Never leave us or forsake us. Incline our hearts towards you and lead us in your ways. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Thank you. So please do now come into our Kiddush Zoom room. You can find the link at the bottom of your screen, and I will come and pick you up literally and carry you into the Azorio Hall to make Kiddush in 2 seconds' time. Shabbat shalom to you all.